Hello.
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 Hello. Oh my God. Look, it's just a few of our little friends.
Around 1,200 of my closest friends that I'm celebrating this weekend with, I guess.
I guess.
When we practiced this yesterday, I was like, good morning, but now it's past noon. I don't know how to do it. Good day? Is that how it works?
Hello.
Hi. And welcome to this year's, yes?
I'd like a big cheer from everybody that was not at the party.
Yay!
Okay. And a cheer from everybody.
Oh my God, Benny, you have a doppelganger.
Everybody who was at the party, give me a cheer. Was it good? Cool. Awesome.
They seem to remember. That's what I'm taking. I'm going to try that again.
Well, we've still got people coming in. That's why I was kind of...
Yeah, but I thought I could still start by
You
saying
want to
hello. Hello.
Just while people are coming in.
Yeah, I thought that's what we're doing. Apparently not. I mean, I'm distracted by your water bottle anyway, so... Also now, we don't know if these people were at the party or not, so we kind of got to do that. No, we're not going to
I reckon. Let's go.
So what you're saying is we're still waiting for people to come in?
No, looks like most people are in.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, let's go.
Shall we sing a song?
Have you heard me singing? People at the party last night don't mention that, right?
I hear there was a karaoke room.
I didn't realize we were like right about to start.
But I only learned that today. If I had known about that yesterday, it wouldn't have changed a thing, but... You're welcome. That was a quote by Deborah.
Perfect.
There you are.
Sit there, be awesome.
So you just tell me when we stop waiting for people? Or?
Now.
Okay. Good day. Hello. Welcome to this year's keynote by the community. If you were here last year, you will already have noticed that we had a similar idea. We invited some of our friends to join us here on stage. Mainly so Rob and I don't have to do all the work, but also for a bunch of very good other reasons that you will figure out over the course of this keynote. Because once upon a time, there was a group of people, and they were super active in this community, doing all kinds of things. They were speaking, helping, mentoring, but also there were a bunch of others that were at events like these, that were part of our community, that read forum posts, that watch recordings, but that are a more passive part of our community, or non-active. So the active part of the community was like, how can we change that? Until someone came up with the idea, how about we play a game? And fitting the theme of this conference, what game would be a better match than playing Dungeons & Dragons, right? There's one issue. I wasn't here for the Thursday keynote because I came in late, and I know nothing about Dungeons & Dragons. I hear you need a storyteller, is that right? Apparently none of you know how to play Dungeons & Dragons.
Nobody here knows anything about Dungeons & Dragons.
No, yeah,
Apparently Dungeon Master is not the correct in this new world that we live in, so we were told that storyteller was the correct word to use.
So Rob,
I'm really, really busy.
I know you're busy, but I'm busier. So could you be our storyteller for today?
Okay. Okay. So so actually, what I need to be a storyteller is some dices, some dices. Die! Oh, sorry.
You mean ducks?
That came out wrong. Yeah, ducks. Yeah, that would be great. Can we just? No, that's not going to work for me.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That didn't happen in rehearsal.
So you're taking the Nigel Frank and the Idea duck and just throw them on the floor like this?
Throw them on the floor. Yep. We don't want those. They're not dice. We can't roll them.
Okay. Oh, these look like dice. They actually look like advancing analytics dice.
Advancing analytics dice. Awesome. Okay. So, my Dungeons and Dragons people, what we have here is a scene to set. And the scene is that each one of you is a member of the community, and you're each going to have a task to do. So we'll start with you, Craig. Craig, please may you roll the dice.
Watch this water now.
You find yourself at a party, at a conference called SQL Bits. Right, hang on a second. Yep, I see that. Okay. And as you mingle with other attendees, you were introduced to a tall, dark, handsome man who looks like Kenny Everett. He's a well-known expert in the field of replication. I don't know. You strike up a conversation, discovering your shared passion for SQL Server and exchanging tips and insights. Your challenge is how are you going to build relationships and leverage the expert of others in this field. If you can connect with other data platform professionals, that's easy for me to say, then maybe you can unlock new insights and opportunities for growth in your career. What is your next move?
That conversation back in 2016, and many like it, is what unlocked the next level up. So my name's Craig Porteous. I am a principal data engineering consultant. I've worked in data for 16 years. But going back to that SQL Bits party in 2016, William Durking, the supposed tall, dark, handsome, okay, we'll go with it. William committed to bring 3 other brave adventurers to Glasgow, including Andre and Rob himself, helping me kickstart the data community with the first ever Data Scotland event. At the same SQL Bits that year, a fellow warrior from a previous job asked me to join him in running the Glasgow SQL user group. And we'd later encourage each other into doing our first speaking session as newcomers at an event supported by a mentor. And he's a Bits buddy this year as well. Rob Sewell gave his time as my mentor to guide me towards my first session and make the journey less scary. It's the enthusiasm and the welcoming attitude of everyone I encountered in the data community that made this a great first public speaking experience and encouraged me to start a similar program at Data Scotland. That web just expands exponentially from there. Being nominated and getting awarded as a Microsoft MVP, the SQL Bits team asking me to run the community corner, to my first time speaking at SQL Bits. I'm not a lone adventurer in this. Every step, every branch, I'm lifted up by the community, just like having your own dungeon party. Seeing other people benefit the way I did from the generosity of the community gives me fuel to do more. Data Scotland is now 7 years old, and we're 10 times the size it was when it started. I've delivered 3 sessions this week and spent about 3.5 weeks putting my costume together. And I'm in a job that I love with a mind-blowing team, all built upon the shoulders of the data community. So let the community help you become an active player.
Thank you. I think we'll call that. I think we'll call that a success. So Jess, can you roll the? Hang on a minute.
Oh.
Where are my die gone?
I'm going to give you some choices. Would you prefer some Microsoft or some DCAC dice?
Oh, let's go for Microsoft.
There we go.
Thank you so much. So here we go. Some dice for you.
I'll try and be careful this time.
This time, yeah. But be careful. Interesting.
How's it look?
Interesting, yeah. Rainbow, it looks rainbow.
Amazing.
So you find yourself, Jess, facing a horde of vicious goblins.
Oh my.
They've been terrorizing nearby towns and villages. Now, we all know that fighting goblins is a team sport. And you need to strengthen your forces to stand any chance against them. Your first step is to recruit and also mentor new goblins fighters to join your cause. To begin, you must venture out into the surrounding areas and seek out potential allies. It's important that you find ones with a wide range of talents. What's your next move to increase your forces?
Thanks, Rob. You're right. We need to increase our forces, and the best way to do that is to find and train new recruits. But how do we not only find willing victims, recruits, to fight the goblins, but make sure they're trained up and have the best chance to succeed. I did some reflecting on my career so far as a speaker, and now I'm on a quest to return the favor and encourage others to get involved. Let me explain. In June of 2018, I gave my first user group presentation in Cleveland, Ohio. I was terrified, and in fact, I got so sweaty that Garmin recorded an activity. It's probably doing it right now too, but anyway. But the reason I was able to succeed was that I had amazing mentors on my side. And I'm not going to name drop, but they were superstars. And they not only helped me prepare, but provided amazing feedback afterwards so that I could continue to improve. I carried on working on my craft, and since then I've been lucky enough to be selected as a mentor a couple of times for New Stars of Data, where I had the chance to help a brand new speaker get ready for their first presentation. I think mentoring is really important for us more experienced speakers to help the next generation break through. But I also think it can be really good for boosting inclusion and therefore the diversity of our speaker pool. For example, it's common knowledge that women rate themselves harder than men do, right? There was an article in the Harvard Business Review from a few years ago that stated that men will apply for a job if they meet 60% of the requirements, but women will only apply if they meet 100%. It's not a direct relation, but if we translated that to speakers submitting to sessions to events, we might be able to explain why there are far less folks from underrepresented groups in our session pools. With mentoring, we can help here too, encouraging people to submit to events and then helping them through the entire process from writing the abstract to actually delivering the session on the day. Even now, whenever I write an abstract, I bounce those ideas off of people in the community to help tune my sessions and make them as good as they can be. It's also worth mentioning how much I've benefited myself from being a mentor. I've met some amazing people, and the conversations we've had and the questions they've asked while building their sessions has made me a better speaker and community member. It's really a win-win. And now you don't have to be an expert speaker to mentor. Everyone can help here. Even if you've never spoken at an event, I know for a fact you've all attended one. So you know what you like in a session. Offer to listen to new presentations and give some feedback from the audience perspective. It may seem super daunting from the outside looking in, but with a little mentoring and support, we can help grow our community to not only fight goblins, but create an amazing environment for us all to benefit from. I'm going to challenge you all to get involved in this process. This could be volunteering to be a mentor at an event like New Stars of Data, or it could be just providing an audience for someone's practice presentation and providing some feedback. Back over to you, Rainbow Rob.
Of course, you've succeeded.
Great, thank you.
Excellent. Catch.
Oh my. It's a danger if you're in the front row.
It didn't fall off in the practice, I tell you.
Okay, after having just seen this, I'm kind of scared to give you that.
Okay.
I mean, it's more of a cube than a dice. It's a Virgin's Rubik's Cube, but don't throw that at people, please. Please, safety and security, we talked about this.
Gavi, in the land of the dragon sphere, the quest at hand is to aid the citizens in balancing their obligations between work, family, and community involvement. Could you just roll the dice, please? Like careful, yeah.
Oh.
Ah, I see. Unfortunately, the severe lack of support for working mothers has resulted in a dilemma that hinders the potential of the kingdom's employees. As brave adventurers, it's up to you to find a solution that will enable the citizens to contribute to their communities whilst also succeeding in their careers. How are you going to solve this problem?
That's a question that I get very frequently. Question, Gary, how do you manage being a full-time working mother in the tech industry? And the way I describe this question is to start to say, it's very similar to juggling flame torches while riding a unicycle. And that's without being involved in a community. So if you throw that into the mix, then it's pretty much spinning plates, juggling flame torches, and riding unicycle all simultaneously. Now, the picture that I've painted here is extremely entertaining for onlookers and bystanders, but for someone who's going through it, like myself, can be utter chaos. But there is hope. Balancing work, family, and community involvement can feel very overwhelming at times, but there are certainly ways to make this all a bit more manageable, which I'm going to share with you. So for context, I'm a principal data scientist with Advancing Analytics. I am a mother, I do work full-time, and I'm also very active in the community. There's a good reason for this. I love the community, I've gained a lot from the community, and my journey started pretty much 20 years ago when I was in research, where we had communities like this, where researchers came together to share their knowledge, learn from one another, and build really meaningful relationships. Now, that's helped me immensely in terms of growing as a person, and subsequently, that's also grown my career. Now, I've had a lot of opportunities to work in different companies, to gain different experiences, and I've only gained all of those from being involved in communities consistently. So throughout my experiences, there's been communities that's been consistent in my life. However, partway through my journey, things changed, right? Things got very challenging for me. Instead of me looking after myself, I was responsible for my children and my husband as well. Now, that had a lot of complexity and challenges that I had to deal with, and I learned it the hard way. A lot of companies, from my experience, struggle to provide mothers the flexibility to juggle work-life and to raise a young family, let alone provide support to get involved in a community like this. However, I've been through, like I said, my journey, my experiences, and I think I've got the right recipe, and that recipe has 3 main ingredients. The first ingredient being identify your values, identify what's important for you. For me, it was my family, working in an area that I was extremely passionate about, and 3, being involved in the community for me to give back what I gained 20 years ago. The second key ingredient was to look for a company that marries up with your values and your priorities. Now, for me, when I was looking for jobs and Advancing Analytics came up, the first thing I did was to look up their values. And these were the values that immediately married up with my needs. So that was a really easy decision for me to make. Oops. And the third ingredient...
Spoiler alert, nudge.
Spoiler, sorry. The third ingredient really is having a strong support network around you. And that could mean your parents, your friends, your siblings, your other half. For me, my children and my husband are my greatest cheerleaders. Without their support and encouragement, I couldn't be here today, and I certainly could not have been here in this community this week. So as a person who's faced these challenges firsthand, I hope those 3 key ingredients that I've just shared with everybody here today will give you the opportunity to juggle, spin plates, and ride a unicycle a lot easier. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Teo. You find yourself aboard a ship, isolated from your family and unsure of your surroundings. However, you possess an insatiable curiosity and a willingness to learn. Roll the... Oh.
I know you can't really roll these. I got some questions, some SolarWinds socks. I know you like throwing stuff first, so there we go.
Oh, thank you, Quest, SolarWind. Anyway.
How about we use some pure storage for that?
Oh, pure storage.
These also glow in the dark, so if we get a case of emergency, these will lead you to the nearest exit.
You do love socks. There's some over there. Say yes. You must do the dice thing. What do you think? Okay, as you explore the ship, you hear whispers of a valuable artifact known only as data. Intrigued, you decide to make it your mission to learn about this elusive object and how it can assist your career. Your journey is over, your vessel has docked. What is your next move?
Thank you. So my vessel docked, it's 240 miles east from here. There's a port named Felixstowe.
You need to be in front of the microphone.
Okay.
Yay.
So 240 miles east from this place, there's a port in England named Felixstowe. That was my last ship. Before that, I sailed all over the world, in 26 countries, over 100 different ports. And once I got married, my wife was sailing with me. And she did it for 3 years. We were in Felixstowe. She said, can you ask the agent to buy me a ticket? I'm going home. You can keep doing this as long as you want. I'm not doing this anymore with you. Because we were going to 7 countries, 12 ports every 21 days, South America and Europe. So it's a container ship, pretty much working 16 hours a day, and she has nothing to do, right? She only eats, talk with me. Sometimes I don't have time to talk to her. She's like, this is not what I signed up for. And that was end of 2001, after 9/11. And I did not have any other trades, right? I can ride ships, drive ships, do cargo loading, unloading, and all that. And so I thought, what can I do? I knew that I was good in math. So we landed in East Coast, US, in Massachusetts. And I got a job offer in the Coast Guard. And my wife warned me one more time. She said, do you want to do this again? Because Coast Guard job, I found out, they might call me to go to West Coast, go to Florida, doesn't matter where you're living, right? Day and night. So I took a pause. I'm like, okay, let me rethink. So I didn't know much. I said, I'm going to do Java 101 class, UMass Boston campus. That was Q3 2002. Yes, I went there in April. Then I went to Professor Bill Campbell. I said, how does this look? He said, go give a GRE and come back to me. And I didn't know what is GRE, right? Because I was a sailor. So I went to the library, got all GRE books. Locked myself 12 hours a day. I did this. I gave GRE. So I got good score in math, 790 out of 800. So he said, go for a graduate program in computer science, because I have to do something, right? Because I have to eat, pay rent, have babies, and all the usual stuff. That time I didn't have any children. So I enrolled myself into graduate school. Instead of 30 credit, they gave me 48 credit, because I have to know what is C, C++, right? All those things, I didn't know anything. And when I was there, there was a career fair. There was a recruiter from Monster.com in their golden age days, right? They said they need a C# developer for 3 months, $18 an hour. Am I interested? I'm saying, okay, sign me up. So I bought a book, Crystal Reports, C#. I'm done 3 months. They're happy. They said, do you want to work for us full-time? I'm like, yeah, what position you have? So I see a position associate DBA, and I was a TA for undergrad DBA, database class. And I said, I'm going to go for interview. They said, okay, come on. What do you know about database? I said, I don't know much. I'm a TA. I manage a small database for a charity organization. So I can, if you teach me, I can do this. So this led me to 2006 Q3, associate DBA, monster.com. And from there, all this DBA, senior DBA. But in that process, I remember there's a city called Waltham in Massachusetts. There's a gentleman named Adam Mechanic, many of you know, SP who is active. He used to run a user group. I started going there, and those who know Adam Mechanic, I know Deborah, Andy, many of you know, Adam Mechanic, hardly you see him in jeans, right? Like the one I'm wearing. He's always fancy, clean, he's running this user group. I look at him, and I don't know what I was doing, but every second Wednesday of the month, I'll go there, this user group, keep going. And then Adam Mechanic left, and Mike Hilwig, another MVP, he picked up that group. And then we moved from Waltham to Boston. One day he said, you are doing a lightning talk next month. So I thought he's talking to someone in the back. I was like, No, you bearded guy, look at me, I'm talking to you. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What am I going to talk about? He said, go figure out, you have a month. So I figured out, I talked about something. And then next SQL Saturday Boston 500 number, I still remember, it said make it a full 1 hour talk. And Jess Borland, she's not here, she works for Microsoft, she sat at the head of the table in my talk. She wrote every question, comments, and handed me over after that. So, that process went on, I started speaking. 2009, my good friend, Jason, he's in Massachusetts, he nominated me for MVP. I was not working to become MVP, I didn't know about this, and then Microsoft awarded me that MVP. So now, that's where the story ends, right, in the slide, as you can see. So why did I say all this? To boost myself in front of you? No. So in the process, right, I only named Adam, Mike Helwig, and a few other people, but there are a bunch of other people that when I got involved in the user group, that helped me in this journey, right? Because I did not see myself that I'll be able to do this, I'll be able to come to SQL Beats, have my own session, and do talk. And if you don't want to talk, I get that. Not everybody needs to talk. But this process doesn't just help me in my talk, it helped me learning, it helped me in my job, it helped me in my career. So if any advice I can give you, and you decide for you, whether you want to speak, whether you want to mentor like others said, you pick up what you need to do. But if you get glued with your local user group, it will help you, even if you don't want to speak, even if you don't want to mentor. Professionally, and some of the stuff in your personal life, which I'm not going to get into, there are people that you can be open and talk to them, right? Right now, when I was sitting here, Alan Hart, many of you know him, he's a dual MVP. He just texted me about the train, because we are all worried about. So why does he care? Do I have a business relation with Alan? No. It's just because we know each other. So this community is greater than just being speaker, just being mentor, or just becoming an MVP. It's a lot bigger. If you're not involved, I'm sure you are involved, that's why you are here, but continue going to your local user group every month, wherever they meet. Maybe you have to drive a little bit, but this will help you. Thank you.
Great, Grace and Martha. Martin and Gary. Martin and Gary, of course, yes. Why do you have to be a team? Crikey, can you each roll a die? Can I each roll some dice?
Will some Redgate pins work?
Redgate pins, let me have a look at those. I'm not allowed to throw these, am I?
No.
No, okay. No, they will not work.
Will these pins work?
Oh, these ones from JetBrains. No, I think those are even worse.
Oh, this is the DCAC dice all over again, I guess.
Yeah, it's the DCAC die. No, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? It's the die from DCA. Anyway, could each one of you roll that while I find my place again? As you make your way through the bustling city of Casnewydd, you stumble upon an intriguing entry queue that leads to the city's Grand Hall. Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, 00. Chatting with some of the other adventurers in the queue, you learn that two young women dream of inspiring others with their words, but lack the connections, the resources to make their dreams a reality. The journey to becoming a successful speaker is filled with obstacles, from finding speaking opportunities to overcoming stage fright. Are you able to rise to the challenge, or will you, Gary and Martin, falter in the face of adversity?
Okay. Well, yeah. Hello, I'm Martin. Grace, I think they might be onto us. Well, sorry, I can't hear you. Like, you're not making any sense. Oh, Grace, you're on mute. Grace, you're on mute. Like, this was so annoying during the pandemic. Why is this still a thing?
I'm really sorry about that. You think I would have learned by now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think they're onto us. I mean, I'm actually a woman, and I'm 28 years old. What about you?
Yeah, well, also a woman, and I'm 27, so should we drop the beards?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't know how you guys do that.
Gary. This is better.
Yeah,
Cool.
much better. Whew. So So, how have you found it navigating being a speaker as a young woman? I mean, you've had some talks at Bits, you've got some talks coming up. Do you have any concerns?
Well, for me, it's like when I'm on stage, you know, I want to have a lot of energy, you know, work the room, you know, be a bit cool, a bit goofy maybe. And the coolest thing, you know, would be to, you know, do like Adam and Patrick and be like, yo! But I'm afraid that I won't be taken seriously if I do that.
Yeah, but why would you not be taken seriously? Just because you're a woman? No. I think you should back yourself, right? But I understand where you're coming from. I have some similar concerns as well. I mean, I'm really passionate about the technology that I talk about when I'm presenting. But I sometimes worry that when I'm really passionate on stage, that can be perceived as nervousness.
Yeah, no, I get that. But if you saw a man on stage and he was really passionate, you wouldn't think that he was nervous, right? So I think if people think that that's a reflection of them, you shouldn't worry. I mean, passion is a really good thing. So you should go for it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but okay, so there's one thing that I'm, you know, a bit worried about, and that is what we're gonna wear, you know, the outfit. And I'm not sure if this is working. I mean, it's a bit old school, right?
Yeah, I don't think it really works without the beard, if I'm honest.
No, it doesn't.
I think I'm going to go for something a little bit more chill, maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe something like this.
Wow, okay, cool. That's chill for sure. I mean, pajamas. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Grace, you do you, but is that maybe, I don't know, a tad too chill?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I'm not sure, but, you know, I think I'm going to go like this.
Yeah.
Hey.
I absolutely love it. I think it looks great.
Thank you. Well, it makes me feel really confident, you know? I feel cool in this.
Yeah.
But it is pink. And, you know, sometimes people come up to me and are like, are you in marketing? But, yeah. But I'm a techie, like I know my tech, so I'm not sure because, you know, it's pink, so what if they don't think that I'm in tech?
Yeah, I mean, I know where you're coming from. I've definitely had that myself as well. But we know that we're technical, right? So I think we need to back ourselves. I think for me, I mean, I like to be casual. Maybe you're right, this is a bit too casual, but I think I'm just going to wear my normal clothes and I'll feel comfortable in that, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing, that you feel comfortable in whatever you're wearing. And we shouldn't need to change what we're wearing to be taken seriously or for people to assume that we're in tech.
Yeah, you know, you're totally right. I mean, it's really important that we stay true to who we are as well, because it's important that we represent who we are in the community, okay?
Yeah, agree.
You know, we know that we're technical, and you know that you're technical as well. I mean, you know, you've been speaking for less than 2 years, and you already have a pre-con at Data Saturday Stockholm.
So cool, so cool.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's really important that we represent ourselves in the community, especially as women in data and technology. You know, we really need more women in data to be part of the community. So it is important that we stay true to who we are and that we are an active part of the very supportive data community.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Grace. And I think one key takeaway for all of us, you know, should just be that we should all assume that she is technical and, you know, capable of breathing fire.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, so you're in marketing, right, Rob? Or yeah. Well, anyways, over to the marketing guy.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so what we need now, Andre, can you, again?
How about some stickers?
Okay, some stickers. There you go, you can have some stickers. Cool, awesome.
I got a pen.
Don't think the pen's really gonna work, okay.
I'm not gonna give you that, I'm taking that home for my daughter, sorry. I got dice.
Okay, right, okay. Andre, I think we're going to need a camera on this dice, so if you could...
Oh, hang on. Nobody told me that we need to film this, that we need a bigger dice. So.
Okay, sorry.
We rehearsed this like 780 times and still he's telling me nothing.
So do I throw this over there?
No, because Trace says that I have to take it home. Please may you roll the dice.
Here we go.
Okay.
Take my coffee away.
Yeah, I would. Okay, it's gonna roll. Okay, it's gonna keep rolling. Now I wonder what we're gonna get. What a surprise! The old white dude rolled a white 55. Andre, you find yourself in a meeting with a group of other old white men who hold power and influence in your industry. However, you've noticed that they're not supportive and seem to be just dismissive of new ideas, contributions, and ignore other voices that don't sound like their own. I don't mean Dutch, I mean old white men. Undeterred, you decide to try and encourage them to be more open-minded and accepting of new perspectives. Ultimately, the success of this quest will depend on your ability to persuade and influence the group. If you are successful, hopefully you will be able to change the minds of those old white men and help pave the way for more inclusion and diversity within this industry. What is your first move?
Standing up without leaning on the table? Not that old. Oh, when I got the invitation for this, they met older white men.
Clicking.
What was that, Rob?
Was that your knees clicking? Yeah.
I mean, being inclusive also means being age appropriate, Andre. So
Let me throw something at these people here. Marketing dude. I got the invitation, it says older white men. What? So, 55, not really. I'm going to be 52 in a month.
again,
Again. Marketing is not helping.
52 is the new 29, I guess.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, wait a minute. Is this what it's like? Yeah?
This is what it's like, yeah. So, I did get into IT quite a long time ago, in 1989. And before that was not, I was very young, 18. And before that, I was already tinkering with computers. If you're older than 40, you probably had either a Commodore 64, and since we're in the UK, most of you probably a Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, cool. And if you're older than me, you probably remember the VIC-20 and such. Yeah, oh, hands up. Yeah, pretty cool. So 1989 was a pretty cool time to be in IT, to learn things. Internet did not exist. That didn't happen. And we used things like modems and everything to, you could hear from the sound that the modem made, that you got connected to a fast modem on the other side or not. So you hung, oh, no, I'm getting the slow ones. Hang up, try it again. The girl next door said later when we got married, true story. Not married to her anymore, but that's not why. That she hated that modem. Why did the thing make so much noise? Can't they be quiet? And I had to admit that, yeah, they can be completely quiet. But the sound of the thing was amazing. Like, it was such an amazing time to grow up in IT. And fast forwarding a little bit, I started working in databases in like the mid-90s, and then conferences came along because you want to know what other people are doing with their, are they doing the same thing? Are they having the same problems? It was amazing. I went to, I think 2002, the past summit in Denver in the winter. Very interesting. And BITS came along. Can you imagine they did this twice a year in the beginning? This twice a year. That was amazing. But also now I have to be a little bit serious. The community back then, the conferences were called SQL something, and it was about SQL Server. And DBAs attended, and not just the DBAs, usually the senior DBAs. One of the team got sent, and it was all managed by men with gray hair, and all the sessions were about SQL Server, so it wasn't the most diverse group, especially in the beginning. And that could be a bit boring, right? It's not very diverse. It was the thing that bugged me the most is that also the people that chose those people that would speak didn't make it diverse. They chose their friends because we know that they're a good speaker and you have a bunch of white men on the stage. And it was a lot, they call it gatekeeping, right? And this is also because our work was gatekeeping. We were the DBAs. We said no to developers if they came up with a script. We had to approve every script that they gave us. CI/CD, I don't think so in the 90s. Here is the script. You look through. And they did things like the sneaky developers. Did things like giving themselves access rights to the whole server and changing the color of the script or a Unicode so you couldn't read it. So it was invisible. All the tricks that we got. And we got on, we learned pretty fast. How does the developer have SA rights? And you look and you do Control A in the scripts. That was the trick. You get a script from a developer, Control A, I see what you're doing there. And not okay. So but that was gatekeeping. We all did that. And this went through in conferences as well, and that made them not very diverse. So it's not all bad. Fast forward to today. I've spent a lot of time at various SQL Saturdays throughout Europe, spending a lot of time traveling. I've seen a lot of Europe, and I think it's gotten better. And the way I measure that is by the reaction of my girlfriend. She is not in IT. And when I say not in IT, she sometimes wakes me up at night and goes, "Darling, I cannot sleep. Can you maybe talk about your work for a bit?" This really happens. But she comes with me to these conferences. She cannot be here. She has major FOMO. She's back in Amsterdam. And, but she comes with me to these conferences, and I asked her why. And she goes to like museums on the Saturday of the SQL Saturday, but she joins me at the speaker dinners and at the parties, and she says that is because we are a diverse group of people. We have interesting things to say. Because if you talk to about IT to my girlfriend, all she hears is blah, 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 USB. That doesn't connect to She has a skincare company, completely different. So I think we're on the right track here. And this brings me to basically the only tip I have for men like me who are still involved in helping and organizing and maybe going through abstracts or something. There are even in Dungeons and Dragons land, there are good people. Are they called fairies? Bob, do you know? Are they called fairies, the good ones? What is it called? Bob here hires a professional dragon master every week or every 2 weeks to play with his kids. It'd be amazing to be one of Bob and Carmel's kids. I would love that. So there is here's my tip. For men, and this only applies for men like me. Older. I have to do this. Like Joey from Friends. I'm sorry. I'm getting it wrong. The one tip I have for white men with gray hair who want to help, there is a really thin line between the good thing of helping and the dragon that is gatekeeping, and the most dangerous one of them all, mansplaining. That's my tip. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't hear either.
Thank you, all of you, for some very different and some very inspiring stories. I guess that leaves one question. Where does that leave all of you? Especially those of you that consider themselves more a passive part of our community, but maybe also those that are like, maybe there's something else I could try on top of what I'm already doing. And there's tons of things you can do. You can start a blog. You can do videos. You can volunteer. You can be a mentor. And all of these things are obviously, it's not happening overnight, but it can grow. You can be an organizer. You can be a bits buddy. You can be a presenter. And I will accept if somebody tells me, I don't want to present, I don't feel comfortable getting on stage. People like Rob and I, very much on the radar. I will not accept from any of you telling me you don't have a story to tell, because every single one of you does. If, for example, you may have been in Rosie Jurovich's session yesterday, otherwise I highly recommend to watch the recording. She was sharing her story how 3 years ago she knew basically nothing about data and got into all that self-taught. So not everything that needs to be a 500 level tech deep dive. She also did an amazing tech session, by the way, on Thursday. But everybody has a story to tell, no matter where you are in your journey. If you're just getting started with data, or if you've been a principal DBA for the past 20 years. And even if you don't want to be like an active part of the community.
So we've got like an active-passive cluster.
There. I consider myself an availability group.
Oh, okay. So the other thing, if you don't want to be the person making the content, I mean, I'd say absolutely give it a go. You've got a story, of course. You might try it and go, ooh, you know what, this is not for me. Cool. There's plenty of other things that you can do to be a more active, passive member of the data community. You can promote other people's work. Don't think, I've only got 15 followers, nobody's going to see it. They're absolutely going to see it, because the people that are looking on the social medias at the time that you are, they're going to see it. So you can do that. You can leave comments on people's blogs. You can make suggestions. You could give people feedback. You can promote the content from the new people that you see. The things that you find amazing that all of these people create, you can use that to move it forward. But taking part, creating something like SQL Bits, like a Data Saturday, like whichever sort of event that you create, it's not just about getting the speakers and getting the content, and that's important, of course. But there's a whole bundle of things that go on elsewhere as well. So go and ask people if they're running a user group, can I help? I don't want to speak, or I'd love to speak, but take part in all of those things, or just support them. Make it your goal just to start thinking, you know what, that's cool. I'll go and promote this, and I'll say thank you. How about that? You would not believe how much goodness you will pass into people's hearts if you just turn around and you say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for that content. Thank you for that talk. Thank you for that idea. Yeah? Honestly, it really builds people up. And by doing that, we're then giving confidence to all of these people, and we're growing a bigger and more diverse community.
We have one last thing prepared to make that first step a bit easier for you, but we're going to need the help of you for that. We've created a tiny little resource. If you go to sqlbits.io/yourrole, you're going to find to a website where you can add your own initiatives as well. Please add all the resources that helped you become more active in the community, anything that helped you. There might be a podcast on there where Jess and I are now inviting every single one of you to be this is going to run for the next 20 years now, sorry.
Yeah.
We're running a podcast called Finding Data Friends, and the sole purpose of that podcast is to introduce every single one of you in small 15-minute parts once a week, except in weeks where we're all meeting here because obvious reason. You may want to get started into speaking, and there's conferences that support exactly that, but there's so much more. So if you have any initiatives, please add them there. If you're looking for initiatives, please look there. Before I say thank you, Rob, I forgot something very important. We forgot one piece of swag. The most important one.
The most important one.
So first of all, I want to say thank you to a couple of people. First of all, I want to say thank you to all those of you that went to the DKMS booth in the expo hall and either made a donation,
spent your money,
or that got registered as a donor. A donor, not a kebab. It's not my first language. Anyways, they have the mission to fight blood cancer. A good friend of us from the community, Hugo Cornelis, is currently fighting blood cancer. William's mom is currently fighting blood cancer, so please get registered. It doesn't hurt, it's super easy, but it's also very expensive to run these tests, so please support them as good as you can. There's another way how you can support those. There's the charity sale. You've seen, for example, the beanbags out there. You can buy those beanbags.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Please don't buy them while people are still lying on them. They're a minimum of £30. Feel free to pay more. There's Microsoft t-shirts. They're a minimum of £5. And there's some retro SQL Bitswag mugs, coasters, all this. They're a minimum of £2. And all of that money will be split between the Newport Food Bank and DKMS. So please support those, and for those that already did, thank you very much. I want to thank... I want to thank all of you, because we literally could not have done that without you.
We couldn't have played the game if we hadn't had all of the people.
Well, it would have been different, at least.
It would have been difficult, yeah.
I want to thank all the sponsors of this event. We literally couldn't have done it without them, not just because of the dice, but also running this thing costs money. I want to thank all the orange shirts in the room and all of those that were wearing an orange shirt over the course of this week for helping.
Yeah.
Obviously, the organizers that put all this up, and also to the organizers for trusting us again to do this, because they had no idea what we were doing. I could have spoken about...
Hang on a minute. We had an idea what we were doing.
Yes, that too.
Okay.
I could have spoken about BDC for an hour, after all. And last but not least, I want to thank many of us as family, and I want to thank all the partners at home that have our backs for us to be here. Because in my case, my partner has to take hours off yesterday, so I can spend a day or two partying with 1,200 of my closest friends. So thanks to all of those. Everybody, stay awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.